All right. Happy Wednesday, everyone, wherever you are at. This is One Love, celebration of movement and meaning. Today with Bobisch and big girl Lavix, a new chapter opening right now. Today, the third chapter of our series. Yes, you can watch the previous events and episodes on our YouTube channel. Yes, they have been just amazing, and this one is going to be that as well. Всем добрый вечер, рады вас приветствовать на шоу. Well, Lavix, welcome to the show. So nice to
Thank you,
have you here.
Bobisch.
Thanks for coming.
It's nice to be here.
So awesome. Yes. I'm on Tenerife Island. That's Spain. Where are you at?
Bay Area, California, near San Francisco.
So awesome. Bay Area, representing to the fullest. Really great. Yes. Where did you start dancing? Did you start dancing in that place, or where did you initially start with the dance?
Yeah, I started dancing in Berkeley, where I went to college, UC Berkeley. And there was a open session there that a lot of the very well-known Bay Area dancers were at. I think a lot of crews at that time, like Renegades, Machine, Rock Force, they were all there.
Yeah, so that sparked a lot of fire. I got it. So awesome. Yes. Actually, during the series, we had a lot of coincidence, massive coincidence. And we also have a cool one for this episode because I remember when we did a poster for the shows, I picked randomly a picture of yours, Levix, and I picked that one with a donut as a medal. And then, meanwhile, while all the shows were being prepared, you became a gold medalist champion of that US Breaking for Gold thing. Yes, congratulations on that one.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, so that became reality. So awesome. Yes.
Yeah.
And this is also super crazy. But what about that donut picture? Like, is it your regular attitude towards the medals and the events? You kind of look at them with a little bit of, fun and humor, or how did that came about?
Yeah, I actually don't remember. I really enjoy donuts, like eating donuts. And I was like, oh, I think I started when I first won an event maybe last year. That was also part of the first kind of first competitions for the USA breaking national team. And I was eating the donut, and my friend was like, you should take a picture with the donut. It would be really cool. And so that's how it started. And so, yes, I of course take it seriously because it is serious, but I also, want to find the fun in being able to dance.
Incredible. That's a great combo. Yes. And for all the old audience who is not really deep into that Olympic story thing, what is gonna happen with your title right now? You're gonna represent the US team in the World Series, or what's going on? What's gonna happen?
Yes. So basically, it means that I've made the US team for this year, and I will represent at the World Championship in Korea. And in 2023, we'll basically start the whole process over again. So we'll find a new team for 2023. But it's the first step to making it to the qualifiers for the Olympics.
All right, great. And since this is basically one of the first endeavors with the Olympics at all, that's pretty remarkable, right? To be one of the first people to represent this whole thing. Yes. Super awesome. Really happy for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I'm sure you've already conducted a couple of interviews on your experience with the battles during the Olympics, but let me ask you a couple of questions too. What was the toughest experience during the Olympic battles? What was the toughest, most complicated experience for you during that evening? Yes.
I think the toughest part is that there are is just very long. It takes up the entire day, and we have to dance a lot more than a usual regular competition. So we have to be able to warm up, dance, and then when the b-boys or the kids are dancing the other parts of the event, we have to stay warm and be able to keep our bodies warm. And I think that the fact that it's the entire day, it was from maybe 11 a.m. to 12 a.m. So almost basically entire day was the hardest part, was being able to be mentally ready for that.
Yeah. And I totally understand, as I'm also a competitive dancer myself, like that idea of, that moment of re-warming up, or I don't know how you should say it, like warming up again every time, like 5 times during a day, whatever. That is, yes, it takes a lot of endurance. Yes, so awesome. What about the best experience, the funniest, the most fun experience during that day?
That event, I think the most fun part was just seeing everybody again, because we have smaller like regional qualifiers that add up to the national qualifiers, and basically at each of these events it's all the same people competing, and there was a break between the regionals and the nationals, and just being able to see everybody again from all over the United States, that was really fun. And I think I just really enjoyed talking to everybody.
Awesome. So yes, the community thing. So awesome. Yes, that keeps it going. So great. Yes. Meanwhile, there is a lot of controversy. Also, especially in Russia, there are even some people who they don't go to any events that are related to Olympics. They say this is not the culture. We should be, beware of the risks and everything. And there are people who they just don't support such events at all. And that's a big group in Russia of such people. I don't know if this is common in the US. Are there people who just completely boycott the events and they say, no, I'm not going to touch this, never like an event like this? Is there such a group of people in the US?
Yeah, I think there's a group of people who don't support breaking going into the Olympics. I think it's a little complex in that I have friends that also are like, oh, it's weird that breaking's in the Olympics, but they'll support me trying to go for it. I think that they can both be part of breaking. I think breaking in the Olympics will basically help dancers themselves be able to maybe get more avenues of financial freedom compared to what's happening right now in the US. And I think breaking, like, the culture, the underground culture, the ciphers and everything are still going to exist. Like, it's never going to go away. So I think both can coexist at the same time. And I think it's a big platform to basically show what we can do.
Yeah, I would agree. Yes, the things can definitely coexist, and that happened throughout the history of breaking. Whenever the judged battles have started, then the concept of going as big as Olympics, it was already there. When people created a wheel, the idea of Tesla was already there, already back then. So it's kind of like it was already inbuilt, the desire to be there. Yes, to have it more organized, to have it more structured. Meanwhile, there are people who say that the main concern is that a lot of children, a lot of teenagers, the newer generation, they may get that misconception of the whole thing being a sport, being a dance to win the medal, instead of understanding this as a cultural package that goes along with a lot of other elements, the community. Do you think, is it possible to mitigate that risk of that misconception, and what can be done?
I think it is possible. I think it is our responsibility to kind of be able to teach that it's not just a sport. And for that to happen, I think one of the ways for that to happen is being able to have a structure or a system already in place, where when kids or parents of kids want their kids to be in breaking, that we have people that actually break teaching them, who understand that we can't just teach them moves, but we also have to teach them the history, the culture, how it exists inside hip hop in general, so that it doesn't just become watered down as just, oh, if I learn this in a studio, I'll become a b-boy or a b-girl or a breaker. I think, of course, it'll be hard, but I think it is possible. I think it's possible.
Yeah, me too. I'm pretty optimistic on this one as well. Yes, I think, it's always a lot of things are going in, in sometimes opposite directions, but it's our mission to kind of like, make them more connected as we proceed with our, ideas and ideals. Yes, so that's pretty great. Meanwhile, we have our first question from the chat. People, you can ask questions on any platform. We got Telegram, we got vk.com, we got YouTube. If you are watching on YouTube and you're on mobile, your question won't appear, so you need to log in from your desktop device to ask your question. So our question today is very similar to the question we had last time, but this time it's regarding the B-girl feeling. How can you describe being a B-girl, what it means to be a B-girl in a few sentences?
That's a very good broad question.
Yeah.
For me, being a B-girl basically means, I dance. It means I break. It means I have a responsibility to represent myself as a woman in hip hop culture, to represent myself fully in hip hop culture as a B-girl.
So awesome.
Also a big answer.
But it should be, that's a big one. That's a big one. And I guess it's also constantly evolving, like throughout life, like, dance may mean different things to people. Yeah. So that's pretty great to hear it 2022 from B-girl Lavix. Super awesome. By the way, how did you get your name? And do I even pronounce it correctly? I say Lavix.
Yeah, it's Lavix.
Okay. I'm glad.
How did I get my name? Okay, so I had a nickname in college when I was in marching band, because I did marching band in university, was basically Vix, because my first name is Vicki, and it was just easier to call me by Vix. And the law in front of it came because my mentor is Lancer, or Lance the Rock, from the Calamities. And basically it's traditional for the student to take one part of the mentor's name as part of their name. So that's where my entire breaking name came from, is Lavix.
Awesome. Yes, this is super great. Really cool. I also noticed you got some interesting language on your Instagram every now and then. Is that Chinese, or am I mistaken and I consider everything that I don't understand for Chinese?
It is Chinese.
Okay.
My parents immigrated from Taiwan to the US.
All right. Yes. So you speak Chinese as well.
I can speak Chinese, yeah. Not as good as I want to, but I can speak and understand it.
So awesome. Yes. So great. Yes. We've been touching a little bit with our first guest, B-girl Erogena, who is also from California. She's based in Sacramento. Yes, and I'm pretty sure you know one another. Yes, so we were also touching a little bit on that topic of backgrounds, and like, how do you feel about your background? Do you feel that you somehow represent your Chinese roots in this culture, that you want to represent that one as well? Do you feel like you got your mixed style of Californian American Chinese breaking, or you don't put it that way, and you think you got your Lavix style, which is something separate from any regional identity?
I think it comes through subconsciously because myself as a person, I am Chinese, Taiwanese, American. So I wouldn't be able to separate it when I dance because I'm dancing as myself. So I think, yeah, I don't think there's a separation, but it doesn't consciously come through. I think it's just, yeah, I represent Chinese, Taiwanese, American person.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the best answer. Yes, that's the best answer right there. Yes, and the to continue that coincidence thing, and that is actually also our our good direction that we all follow throughout the series, the ecology topic. So big girl Arjana, she's also into ecology, and you are also into ecology. So that's a cool thing. Yes, people can also rewatch that episode if they feel like. What about your Erjana told us that she basically in her life she doesn't make any connection as of now between her job as an ecologist, a scientist in ecology, and her bigger life. What about you? Is that somehow connected for you?
Yeah, I I work in ecology habitat restoration, which is basically like the study of the relationship between plants and the environment, and basically restoring historical habitats or yeah, historical habitats in the Bay Area. I worked in that until last year, actually, and I quit my job, so I became a full time dancer. I think it does just because it's been 10 around 10 years where I had to both, you know, have a day job in ecology and also dance at night. So I think the relationship is that I do find a lot of inspiration in nature and like in patterns in nature. For example, there's patterns in the way leaves are grown. There's patterns in the way that the waves hit the land and so forth. It's basically like a continual pattern. So I find a lot of inspiration ideas in the way that nature exists in my dancing. And I use those to basically create.
This is great, and I'm glad we have this recorded so people later on they may also get inspired and also try to connect the different spheres of their lives. This is a beautiful message. Thank you. I remember you had a link prepared about some ecology project, right? That you were mentioning. Let's drop it to our chat room right now. That ecology link. Yes, so that everyone can also, keep it interactive and try to engage with the things Lavix is talking about. Yes, so please, let's have that ecology link in the chat. And meanwhile, I may get busy and check if we have more questions from the audience. Yes, and we have a very interesting question right there. And that is, you are a very successful dancer. Do you have a manager who works on your branding or promotion, or do you do it all on your own?
I kind of have a manager. It basically my friend who works for free to help me with my social media and branding ideas. It's kind of new. It only just started like a couple months ago, and he's actually also my personal trainer. I think my branding is pretty terrible. Like I don't really have a brand in social media. Like I know I have to work on it because it's basically a part of being successful right now as a dancer is that you also have to engage in social media. So I think in the future, I will have to have a more serious manager of social media so that there are more ideas that I can do to basically become successful in that way.
So awesome. Yes. Really interesting. And we'll be definitely keeping our eye on your social media in the future as well. Yes. So for people who want to join that media right now, what's that word? Handle, right? You call it handle.
My
Yes.
handle.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. So what's your handle on all the social media? Where can people look you up?
My social media right now is basically just Instagram, which is LA_VIX.
Yes. Underscore. Yeah, that's so great. Yes. Okay. We have that there. Yes. And people can search on any platform they like, and they will be fine with that one. Okay. The next question in the chat is, there are a lot of shoe boxes behind your back. Why do you need so many? Can you show me your favorite ones and tell me why you like them? I love the question.
Um, those shoe boxes, of course, hold my shoes. And my favorite one, I don't know if I have a favorite right now. Let me check.
Yeah, dude, please. Yes. So incredible. Yeah, and all kind of like all the dancers are into, shoes, because different shoes, they give you different feeling when you dance, and you also look
Yeah.
differently. Some shoes are heavier, some lighter. Yes, I'm filling in the moment of the shoe search. Yes, so I'll tell you some stories. Yeah, I personally like lighter shoes, but yeah, let's see what Lavix likes.
Yeah. These shoes, these are actually from eBay. They're called Air Stabs, which I don't believe they make anymore. But these I don't actually dance in because I want to keep them clean. And when you dance, they get dirty and they break in like half a year. But yes, that's my favorite shoe right now, but that changes pretty constantly.
Awesome. Yes. Great story with the shoes. Yes, and I actually, yeah, there are many boxes in there. Yes. Oh yeah, they
these
are.
these are the shoes that I actually dance in now. They're called Nike Initiators, and they also don't make them anymore. So I just had to find old pairs on eBay.
Yes. That's the way it goes. Yes, sometimes you need to dig a little bit, even for the shoes that you like. Yes, they give you the particular feeling. That is so important. I got interested because you told that you quit your previous job, and now you're a full-time dancer, full-time b-girl. I'm interested in that question of I'll be a little bit like my mom. She asked those questions as well, like what happens, for example, if you can't go to an event, if you're injured, if you can't participate, judge, or teach, and is there like any security provided from somebody somewhere? Do you need to organize it yourself, or how do you look at that issue of security?
Yeah, it's not very secure. I've luckily had money saved up just because I've been working for so long beforehand. Um, but yeah, I don't think there's any security really. I get my money basically doing gigs or judging or teaching workshops, sometimes teaching now and then, and mostly from events right now. But yeah, it's mostly just money that I've saved up.
Yeah, well, that's a good piece of advice. Yes, saving up helps to have that security on your own. Yes, and you don't need to be dependent on any organization or anything. Yes, so
Yeah.
saving up is
Actually,
always good. Yes,
sorry.
go ahead, go ahead.
I also freelance as a native plant gardener. So if I'm really hurting for money, I'm able to basically, as a contractor, basically do landscape gardening
Mhm,
for
mhm.
with native plants. So it's still related to what I used to do.
Okay,
and habitat
okay.
restoration. Yeah.
Yeah. And the last comment makes it a full, complete advice for all the dancers out there. Yeah. So save up and also, have your freelance additional jobs here and there. Then you'll be like all decentralized. Yes. You won't keep all the eggs in one basket, or however that sounds. And that should sound in English. Okay. Yes, question number 6 from the chat. Meanwhile, yes, you are a dancer, but what else do you do, like, as a hobby? Traveling, reading books, collecting, something, maybe shoes. LOL.
My I also like to go backpacking and camping. Again, like as part of my life, like being really into nature. If I have time, I'll go basically to anywhere that has, a beach or forest. There are a lot of really nice national parks in the US, and I'll just take a weekend or a week and just go camping. Um, Basically like hike 8 to 10 miles a day, camp, hike another 8 to 10 miles a day, and just, really be away from everything.
I enjoy that so much myself. Yes, and I also love the feeling when there is no network connection on my phone. I just love it so much. Yes, it's like,
Yeah.
everything's off, disconnected. Yes, all in your place, your friends. So great. Yes.
Yeah.
Are there places in California like where you hike that there is no network connection, or is it like all covered?
I think there's a mountain range that runs maybe 4 hours drive away from where I live, called the Sierra Nevada range. And once you get into the mountains, there's no signal.
Okay. Yeah. So there are
Yeah,
still some places where you can experience
there are.
that
Yeah.
networkless
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah.
Yes.
Along along with that, I'm trying to learn how to play the ukulele. I started trying to learn during COVID because we were all locked down. So I used to play flute and violin in the orchestra. So I'm trying to keep up with learning new instruments, or trying to continue playing instruments.
Yeah, and that thing you mentioned, I can't even pronounce it again. That is that Hawaiian guitar, right? Or
Yeah, the smaller the ukulele.
yeah. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the sound of it. Yes, so cool, so awesome. Yes, really great. All right, people. We will do our regular questionnaire from my little book. That's just like some fun part of the show. 10 question quiz with short answers. There are some hip hop questions, but also some general life questions as well in here. And after we do that, we'll play our first dance clip. So you'll be able to see Bigger Lavix in action right now. Okay, so the 10 quiz. Question number 1. A move you are learning right now. Maybe some power move, a little footwork step. What are you
Oh,
learning right now?
elbow tracks.
Elbow tracks, people. Okay, yes. Excited to see those. Exciting. Very cool.
One
Okay,
of
number
my
2.
dream breaking moves.
Yeah. The so are you talking? There are some differences between the names of the moves. Are you talking about the halo with elbows, or are you talking jumps?
The jump.
The jump. Okay, so for
Yeah.
people who don't know, who is not into breaking language, I'll tell you, Bigger Lavix is gonna jump from one elbow to another, and she'll be all in the air during that jump. Right, people? Okay, great. Question number 2. Music you listen to now, you are inspired with right now, nowadays.
Right now, I listen to a lot of Little Dragon. They're a band from Europe, Sweden, I believe. It's like a indie rock band.
Okay, great.
Yeah, Little Dragon.
Awesome. Nice. Little dragon in there. Number 3, favorite food.
Favorite food. Pizza.
Pizza. What toppings?
Sausage and mushroom.
Got it. Yes. Nice. Number 4, favorite drink.
Favorite drink? Oh my gosh, I don't know. Probably a smoothie. No, wait, not a smoothie. There's this drink called apple cidra that's from Taiwan, and it's basically like a super bubbly apple cider.
Okay.
Drink.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. And if smoothie, would you go with mango smoothie or something else?
Mango smoothie's pretty good. Like mango lassi from an Indian restaurant.
Oh
Those
yeah.
are amazing. Yeah.
Yes, I'm down. I'm down here as well. Okay. Yes, number 5 is a little more more hip hopish. Yes, a place where you would like to organize your jam. Like if you are to organize a jam or maybe teach, give a workshop anywhere in the world, where would that be on the world map?
It's a good one.
Yeah, maybe we even set an intention and one day you do it.
Yeah. Honestly, maybe near a beach somewhere. I know there's several jams, like Radical Force in Singapore is like has an event at a beach, but I do want to throw a jam in the future just in the Bay Area just so I can give back to my community. But maybe have it, I don't know, in nature or at the beach somewhere.
Yeah, so awesome. Yes, absolutely cool message. Yes, give back to your own community. Yes, super great. Yes, number 6. If not breaking, what other type of movement would you engage in? And you told about hiking, so now we need position number 3. Yes, if not breaking or hiking, what else?
I also do a little bit of house dancing. Yeah, I used to do some yoga, but it wasn't really for me. It's good for flexibility, but yeah, right now also house dancing. It
Yeah.
was I started it when I stopped breaking for a little bit because I wasn't enjoying it, and during that time I started listening to house music, and there's a big house community in the Bay Area, so then I just started house dancing.
I think I can even see some house influence in your footage. Yes. Okay, and we'll see if our audience will see that as well when we'll get to that clip. But now, question number 7: language you want to learn or you're learning right now. Language.
I want to get better at Mandarin, just because it's my heritage and I want to, and I also want to learn Brazilian Portuguese because I think it's beautiful.
Yeah, true. Absolutely. Yes. Really interesting development of Latin languages. Yes, that Brazilian Portuguese. Absolutely. Yes. Okay, people. Yes. Beautiful message in here as well. Like, go back to your heritage. I recommend that everyone tries to do that as well and check out what languages their ancestors spoke. That is super exciting. Yes, because I'm sure the connection would be amazing for everyone to dig that topic. Yes. Number 8. If not breaking, what other element of hip hop culture would you do? Graffiti, DJing, or maybe hip hop fashion?
Ooh, fashion. Probably DJ and fashion. I feel like DJing I would really like to get into, just being able to create the music for people to enjoy.
So awesome. Yes. And since you got that music background, then probably that would work. Yes. That would work quick and easy. Yes. So looking forward to DJ Lavix in the future. Yes. Really great. Yes. And a lot of people, actually, a lot of dancers say that they are planning on this. And I'm always looking forward to B-boys and B-girls career as DJ. Super exciting. Yes. Last but one, B-boy, B-girl inspiration.
Ooh, that's hard. I think for when I started breaking, it was abstract from Skill Methods and Movie One from Spain were two of my bigger inspirations.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome people, yes. And I encourage everyone all the time you hear a name, you try to Google that if you don't know the person. Yes, because all the time during our shows, we got incredible names being mentioned. So yes, do your own research, people, and check them out because this is great. Yes, the names we have in here in the shows, they're all great. Yes. The final one. A gadget you would recommend everyone to buy?
A gadget. I guess headphones for the place. Actually, you know what? I have a good one. A traditional Chinese cleaver. Those huge like cleavers that you can chop everything with. Those are really nice. I just bought one myself. If you're cooking,
Right.
if you're good at cooking.
All right. Yes.
Very low tech gadget.
Yes. But it's going to maintain its presence on the market, I'm sure. Yes.
So always be budget friendly.
Absolutely. So great. Enjoying this so far so much. So great. Yes, people will have our video pause and you'll be able to see Lavic's dance in that video. So yes, VJ Robert of AMC, please spin that for us. Here you go, audience. Whoa, people, give it up, everyone. Clap at their places. This is great. Yes. When was it?
I believe that was last year at Break Free event in Houston, Texas.
Awesome. Yes, Houston, Texas. Yeah. So great. Yes. Huge hellos to Houston, Texas. I used to live there back in 2002.
Oh,
yes,
whoa.
during my exchange experience. Wow. Meanwhile, we got some great question here that is really interesting from our audience. How often do you meet Russian dancers during your performances at events?
Not personally, not a lot because I haven't been to a lot of international events. Most of the events I've been to are just in the US, and I've met, there's, I don't think they're Russian, but they're from Eastern Europe, like, and they know a lot of Russian dancers. Like Melissa lives in the US now.
Okay.
But and like Stacy, but I don't think they're Russian. So honestly, not really. But I feel like if I travel to European events or other events outside of the United States, that I would meet more of them.
Yes, got it. Yes, really cool, really interesting. And by the way, we back then at some point we had idea of Lavic's visiting Russia during some of our events. I think that was in 2019, but that didn't work out. So maybe someday at some point in the future we'll be able to make that work and have some interesting event offline. Yes, so I hope the world enables us to fulfill those dancer dreams. Yes. Okay, question number 9 from the chat. What was the worst advice you've ever been given?
The worst advice, I think, I don't think this was bad advice. I think it was advice because the person cared for my security, and the advice was that I shouldn't quit my career to dance. And I think that advice made me kind of prolonged or not setback, but kind of setback, like the amount of time I could have spent in moving forward in my dance career and having to split that time between having a 9-to-5 job and also dancing. And I mean, the advice is good in that, yeah, I have like a stable job and healthcare, and being secure in that way, but it was not as good for me mentally, and feeling burned out and doing a lot of things, and not being able to spend all my time dancing.
Got it. Yes. And the second part of that question, what was the best advice you've ever been given?
The best advice I've been given is to be myself when I dance, to not put on a mask, to be genuine, and that, yeah, just to be a genuine person.
Keep it real, right?
Yeah.
Yes, that is great, people. And for everyone who wants to keep it real and visit something offline, we have our special section where we talk about cool events that you may visit, or tell your friends to visit. And I'm sure Vicki has some interesting events for us as well. So what would you recommend to visit if you are in the US? Like, what's coming up?
I don't know about the US as a whole, but if you're ever in the Bay Area, there's an event that's thrown called Make History, and it's thrown by Gideon, and it's basically an event that celebrates Black history in the United States and bring it back to that. It's basically, it's a competition, but it's a fun event. The music is great. Everyone's there to just celebrate.
Awesome. Yes. Some event to celebrate. That sounds pretty cool. Yes. I'm pasting the link again in the chat so that the audience can check it out as well. Yes. And all the time we tell people, share that with your friend. You got a friend who is in California, tell them to visit that. Yes. And a personal message is the best way to do it, because sometimes people, they just don't look at reposts anymore because everyone's reposting everything. So, you can share something personally with people and tell them, I got a cool thing, that'll be a little more friendly and have a little different impact. Yes. I'll also advertise our event that we are doing, as Lev said, for the sake of our community, the block where I grew up at, and that is Northern Petersburg, Russia. Yes, and that's going to happen on the 4th of September. Yes, so pretty soon, this Sunday, actually. And that's going to be event that we call Block Respect Cypher. And the concept there is that everyone jams and everyone is a dancer, and at the same time is a judge as well. Later on, we ask all the participants to vote on the best, most inspiring person of the evening in an open chat in Telegram. Yes, so a little piece of cool concept in there. We ask everyone this question as well. Do you think, can that ever work? Like, if the jam gets big enough, would that be possible to, utilize that crowd wisdom and, ask everyone to vote? Or would that just go crazy? People would submit a lot of fake votes. What's your experience with all those alternative judging systems, if you have any?
I don't have any experience with crowd judging, but I've seen events that are crowd judged. And I think it's interesting. It's a different way to judge. I mean, part of the dance is being able to engage the audience. So it is a cool way to see how the audience votes, as opposed to having just like 5 judges.
Right.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see how far they can take it.
Yeah, me too. That's also my interest. Yes, and the thing in here that we ask the participants to vote, so it's not that everyone can vote, but only the participants. Yeah, so only if you take part in the jam, then there will be like, I don't know, 20, 30, 40 or less or more judges to say, so not everyone. So only if you participate, you feel that vibe, you're in the Cypher. But then the big question would be like, if it gets bigger, then how would you identify if that person was participating? Yes, so we'll see if that works, that hip hop network thing is able to maintain and identify the connections. Yes, that'll be interesting. So if you're interested in that, the 4th of September, Block Respect, Upper North Side, St. Petersburg. More questions from the chat. We have such a question. You have plans to perform at the Olympics. Are there any differences in preparation for this event?
Not really. I think it is the Olympics. Like, it's the Olympics to the public, but it is also just a huge event, like a large competition, with all the same top breakers that you're already seeing at all the other large competitions. So I feel like it doesn't really change the way I'm training for it.
All right.
Yeah.
Yes. So basically, for you, that is one of the events in your chain of events, right? In terms of preparation.
Yeah, I think because there's so many qualifiers for it, like the way to get to the Olympics is very long, that it is basically the event that I'm training to get to for the next 2 years. Just because if I do other events, I think I would burn out if I travel to other events. So that's basically the main one I'm trying to get to.
Awesome.
So yeah, I guess in that way that my entire training program is geared towards trying to get to the Olympics.
Awesome. Yes. For the people who would be interested in learning something from you, is there any way that people can join your class, whether that be offline or online?
I don't teach any public classes, but if anyone's interested, feel free to hit me up, and I would be down to do like a personal class or something over the internet, or just like over Zoom or something.
Awesome. All right, people. Yes. So now you can check it out and try it. Yes. By the way, online breaking thing is a great thing for all the people who haven't tried that. I recommend trying that. It's absolutely a different experience than going to a studio. Yes. And I would say, of course, it's less energetic sometimes, but still it has a lot of advantages too. Yes, being in your own little space, sometimes you're less shy. For some people it works even better in some situations. So yes, give it a try if you can. Really cool. Yes. The question from the chat: what is the most difficult thing about preparing for serious competitions?
I think the most difficult is just timing it, because for example, like if you have a month to prepare or something, you have to time it, so, or at least I time it so that I practice harder a couple of weeks before and the week before the event where I have to travel, I take it easy, do recovery, so I let my body rest. Before that, I think the day of preparing for the competition, the hardest part is being ready mentally, not being like super nervous and not just getting in my head and overthinking everything.
Wow. Yes, that's a big thing. What about special diet or anything? Do you consider healthy eating? Is that important in your preparation?
Yeah, I follow a pretty strict diet. It's basically not a lot, no sugar, almost not a lot of sugar, a lot of protein, whole grains, vegetables, fruits. I make most of my own food, or I basically make all my food, so I know what I'm eating, and I give myself some days where I'll just eat like, pizza or something like right after a competition if I have a break. But yeah, I follow a pretty strict diet.
Awesome. Yes, probably pretty important. Yes, if you want to be, on top of your game, that plays a big role. Exactly. Yes, I remember back in my competitive days, I would, I would love. Actually, since then, I'm a big fan of rice. Rice is a great thing. Yes, it's just you can eat more of rice and still be light during your practice. Yes, wouldn't work with potatoes. Yes, rice is so great.
I do eat a lot of rice. Yeah. I think the diet itself is more of when you eat certain things, like you eat more carbs during the day or like more rice and noodles and the stuff before practice, and then after practice you have to take in more protein to recover muscle loss and things like that. So I think it really depends when and what you eat, not just what you eat in general. Yeah.
Yeah, also when. Yes, the when is super important. Exactly. Yes, and the amount. Yes. Right, people. We are almost at the end of our show. If you still have questions that you want to ask, you can do that on any of our platforms. Yes, and even if you're late with your question, you can still, publish that question later on. Our show, it's not that big yet, but it's getting big. So while we are growing, you can still ask us questions even later on. And this time we have a question from a previous show. Grach from B-Boy Shiva from Funk Fanatics Crew Petersburg. He was asking if Bomb 5 was at the 29th anniversary of Rocksteady Crew. Yes, and Bomb 5 kindly replied to that question. He told, yes, he has been to most of them, and most of them were incredible. Yeah, so that's that answer and that question. And to all of our audience, if you feel like you want to drop a question later on, you would be able to do that, and we'll try to cover it later on in the next shows. All right. Before the final question from the chat, we will have our video pause number 2, and we'll watch B-Girl Lavix dance again. VJ Robert, please play that clip. Wow, people. Yes, that was some next level musicality from Big Girl Lavix in that clip. So awesome, so great. Yes. By the way, when you practice yourself, for example, like just on your own, do you ever listen to any different genres, or do you mostly keep it with classic breaking music?
Honestly, when I practice, I don't really listen to breaks unless unless I'm like training rounds or something. I listen to a lot of jazz, a lot of slower hip hop, sometimes some new rap album that's just come out. But oh yeah, a lot of jazz music, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, here you go, people. And I'm really glad that we mentioned this because I've heard that from a lot of upcoming dancers that they are sometimes shy to dance to whatever they feel like dancing to, because they think, oh, this is not hip hop. I'm not supposed to use that. And if it gives you inspiration, go ahead and do that. You hear that from Olympic national, the U.S. American champion right now. So that works for people who get that big, and it should work for all the upcoming dancers as well. So don't be shy, dance to whatever you feel like dancing, but remember where it comes from, and also practice to classic original stuff, of course, as well. Great. So the last but one question, in the video you have a tattoo on your arm. What is it? Somebody was really watching that
Yeah,
full of details.
it's
I'm glad.
a yeah, it's a full sleeve. It's actually my crewmate actually did it, but it's basically like a representation of all the elements in nature. So there's flowers, mountains, there's waves for the ocean, feathers for the birds, and then there's also like a little circle right here. It's basically a cipher of like a circle of teachers, and then my crew, soul shifters.
Wow. So awesome, so great. A lot of meaning. Yes, everything is fully packed with meaning, because we got movement and meaning series. One love, people. This is really great. Okay, the final question of the day, the final question of the show, and that's a big one. So I guess we'll spend some minutes answering that. What are your top 3 tips for young B girls and B boys who are just starting developing their careers and they want to, get big? Top 3 tips.
Huh. Top 3 tips. Um, I guess a tip: you gotta enjoy the process. Don't be too frustrated. I know it's difficult. One of the most difficult dances out there, but you have to enjoy doing it. Otherwise, what's the point? Gotta enjoy life. Number 1 tip.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, even though it's a serious thing, if you want to dance as a career, don't forget it's not the only thing that you can do. So be sure to also learn how to do other things, other music, read, become a well-rounded person, and that will actually help your dancing as well. And number 3, number 3 is it's remember there are things you can and cannot control as you start getting into this dance. There's a lot of things going on in the scene that you can't control, and there are things that you can. And just remember to focus your energy on the things that you can control.
Wow. Yes. And that's a beautiful piece of wisdom right there, people. I'm really glad that we did this. This is great, absolutely incredible. For all the people in the audience, don't forget to check out our other events. We got Bomb 5 last Wednesday. We got Miguel Arjena from Sacramento, California during our first event. Next time we got B-Boy Exuberante, B-Boy Zoop from legendary Ground Zero crew. Yes, and the final event will be in September, and that'll be with Brian Pistols. Yes, incredible lineup. Keep in touch with the series. Keep in touch with our artists. Click on the links we posted and share that video with anyone you feel like they need it. You got some big girl coming up and you feel like, okay, this video may inspire her. She needs that little push right now. Send her that video in a direct message. That works the best, and you can maintain that friendly atmosphere. I'm really glad, I'm really happy that we did this. A lot of cool stuff and really different from anything that we did before. Thank you so much, Lavix.
Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed the conversation.
So awesome. Yes. Any final shout outs? Yes, your friends, your relatives, your crewmates, and we are out.
Shouts to my family, my parents, my sister, my crews, Calamities, Soul Shifters, Fourth World, Elephant Graveyard, and of course my dog, Oki, my community dog.
People, much love. That was One Love series with big girl Lavix from Bay Area, California, the US. Bye bye, everyone. Take care and have a great day or great evening wherever you are. Much love. Take care, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Peace.